Vol Nation, what's going on this Monday night? Frank, House of Orange Sports Channel, coming at you. Of course, the big topic right now with Tennessee football. Who's going to be the next quarterback? Who does Tennessee go out and potentially get in the portal? There's not a lot out there right now. There's a lot of speculation. Did see a name mentioned tonight. I've seen a few names mentioned around. I've seen some that make sense. And then, of course, you're going to see some possible pipe dreams out there, which I saw as well tonight. But thank you so much for your support over the weekend, just in all the topics, no matter what I cover here. So make sure you hit the like, the share, and if you like the content, hit that subscribe button for the latest updates. As I'll try to put out as much stuff as possible that'll run across a little bit of a slow day. I mean, as far as sports, the only thing I've seen as far as just to sum it up real quick, Tennessee in the basketball transfer portal is just Rodney Rice. It looks like he's going to take another visit to USC this week. Not necessarily another visit there, but he's taking another visit after he told Rob Lewis, VolQuest.com, that he was done with visits. So decided against shutting it down. It's going to go on that. But football transfer portal, here's what I'm going to talk about now. We'll start with quarterback, as that's obviously going to be the big need here. But that's not it. I feel there's more as well. Looking at it now, of course, Nico Iamaleava is portal bound after, and who knows what all's the truth right now. There's so much bullshit that's being thrown around out here on it, whether it's from his camp, whether it's, somewhere else or something. It's just, I'm sorry, I had to move. I know it's TV reflection there, but just so much being thrown around right now that you don't know what to believe from one to another. The bottom line to me is Nico overplayed his hand, and here's where you're at. Here's my bold prediction. I started seeing it go around last night. I was talking to my dad on the phone. I was texting some buddies of mine. The school I would watch out for, if they're looking to have their NIL demands met, is going to be Sacramento State. Just wait and see. This team moved up. I really didn't know much about them until earlier in the year when they tried to hire Michael Vick as their head coach. Of course, Michael Vick went to Norfolk State. But it's been said that this Sacramento State program who's moving up has a war chest of NIL money. And him being from California, him seeking out the money, because it just seems like every team getting mentioned with Nico is dropping out right now. I'm going out, and I've also seen Tulane mentioned, which would be kind of odd considering their quarterback just went to Duke. That one wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to me. My bold prediction, he goes to Sacramento State on it. And I know it's starting to be out there today. I will, not that I'm the one that put it out there, but I did originally think of that before I saw any other talk of it. But enough about that guy. He's gone. Good riddance. Let's move on. One name I did see tonight, the first one I've actually seen from an analyst mention, was Pete Nakos of On3. He mentioned, they're talking about, so South Alabama's quarterback today, Gio Lopez, hit the portal, and it's believed that he's going to North Carolina. Pete Nakos, then he said, wonder if Tennessee might kick the tires on Max Johnson. It's a name, all right? It's a name. I'm not saying you got to like it. I'm not saying any of that. It doesn't blow me away. To be honest with you, it would provide depth. But a part of me also says if you're going that route, just bring Gaston Moore back. So we'll see where they go. Gaston Moore is still one that would not surprise me, considering he is still in the portal and never signed with anyone. So if he's still intent on playing football next year, could be his opportunity come in and kind of, because I don't know that Merklinger or McIntyre are ready. I really don't. And, I know everybody's fired up about it. You hear the good reports, but it's a lot different doing it in spring versus doing it in SEC play, as we've found out the last 2 years. Milton didn't really light it up at any point that we saw. And then Nico lit up the non-competition to start the year and then fell apart once SEC play started. So Max Johnson is a name. He's done it at LSU. He would be going on his 6th year now, but his numbers have gotten progressively worse as he's been in college. He started out decent numbers at LSU, continued to go down. He transferred to North Carolina. Pretty rough for him. Got hurt last year in the first game. So it's not a name that enthuses me a whole lot. I'll be honest with you. And like I said, if he's just being added for a depth piece, just bring Gaston Moore back, and I'd be good with that. But some more names being mentioned that I've seen. A popular one's Avery Johnson from Kansas State. I did see Nakos on the VolQuest message board come in and said from what he's hearing on Avery Johnson that he's more than likely to stay. Kind of the unicorn that I saw mentioned was Cade Klubnik from Clemson. And I would say a lot of quarterbacks are going to get their names floated through agents, and that's going to drive some prices up along the way. I don't see Klubnik leaving Clemson. That would be an interesting option, though. That would probably be the best case scenario if it were to happen. I just can't see that one happening. Luke Altmaier is one I've seen from Illinois. Pretty intriguing option, actually, for him. And because last year he threw for 2,717 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks. On the season, rushing-wise, let's see, he looks to me like a guy who can put the ball down and go if he needs to. But, I look at the competition in the big game, like against Michigan. He was 9 out of 18 for 80 yards. He did run for 48, but he can run. There's games where he ran for 74 against Rutgers, 60 against Purdue. That would be a pretty good option right here. Now, his passing numbers don't really blow you. Like I said, 211 out of 347, 2,717 yards, right at 61%, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks on the year. He was sacked 32 times. He had one game of over 300 yards. That was against Purdue. So, not a bad option. Not a bad option, I don't think, for sure. Another one I've seen is Sawyer Robertson of Baylor, threw for 3,071 yards last year. But here's the thing with him. He does not at all appear to be a running quarterback. But I don't know. I say that too, and I look at the Colorado game, and he went for 82 yards. So that could be an interesting option. Good passing numbers, 3,071, 229 out of 368, 62.2%, 28-8 sacked just 15 times last year for Baylor. So, and it's a Baylor team last year went, looks like, 9-4 on the season. So I don't know if that's, an option or not. That's one that I'm seeing floated out there. Old Haynes King from Georgia Tech was one. An interesting option I seen mentioned earlier, I found on another website, was Jaden Davis from Michigan, redshirt freshman with Bryce Underwood in the equation. Davis there may not be a space for him. The only thing with that is he's got to come in and learn a new position. He's got the talent. He was very highly rated last year, but he really has no more experience than what Tennessee already has coming back in Merklinger. So I don't know about that. To me, I think it's got to be a guy with some experience who can fill in. And, if you could get an Altmaier, a Robertson, an Avery Johnson, there's going to be more names out there as well. Because one thing to keep in mind is your quarterback transfer cannot be from the SEC in this window. So it does not matter who leaves their schools in the SEC, you're not getting them. You can't do that. So it has to be, will it be a group of 4, Power 4, whatever it is you call it now, or will it be more of maybe a mid-major guy who's got some pretty good numbers along the way? Tennessee will definitely add. It's not a question if, it's when they do it in this next week. And I would imagine the people who actually cover it have gotten a lot more names than what's out right now. But, some of them are putting some stuff together. That's the names as of right now. There's probably some I've forgotten, but that's the ones that seem to have the most kind of, could these happen? And you're probably, again, you're going to hear a lot of guys potentially hitting the portal, and it never happens along the way. But, beyond that, what else does Tennessee need? If you look to offense, pretty obvious. They need receiver help. I think there's a reason they didn't add receivers. I think they're happy with what they got. But at the same time, I just think they overplayed it. And they almost got themselves in a real bind if Mike Matthews would have left. I don't know what's going to be out there in this window. Last year they said it was going to be crazy, and it really was not that hectic. This one's looking a little more wild with what Nico, his little stunt he just pulled and ended up out there. But, and the reports today coming out that supposedly he almost held out of the playoff game. I mean, if true, depending on who you hear it from, who knows what to expect at this time. Until they fix the portal windows, none of this crap's going to go away. But looking at it, now you've got to have receivers. And I'm still really shocked at how inactive they were on receivers. And maybe it was just a case of they tried and the money wasn't out there. But I think they overplayed their hand trying to get Carnell Tate is what it come down to. And it bit them in the ass. I really think that's what happened. And just for the amount of guys out there and for supposedly none of them to be a fit, come on, man. There were some pretty good receivers out there. Some of them had to fit your squad. I think we're good at running back. I think we're good at tight end, offensive line. I feel pretty good with those positions, to be honest. I think this offensive line has a chance to be better than last year's. Now, obviously, you've got a big loss in Dylan Sampson, but I think you'll be fine at running back, and then the tight end position, barring that Miles Kitselman's good to go. I think there's the depth there. Now, on defense, I'd have to look. Now, they did have a defensive lineman supposed to visit from Ohio. I would have to go back and find that one again because I don't have the name on it right off the top of my head. But he was supposed to have been here earlier in the week. Do they try to get some more defensive linemen in for depth, possibly? I don't think they go anywhere with linebacker, but it wouldn't surprise me, defensive back, if they try to get some with Jermod McCoy out. And then, it seems like the Ricky Gibson situation has kind of resolved itself. But here's the thing of it this week. You've got a 1 week long portal window. Does Tennessee lose any more guys to it? And the real big thing is, if you lose a guy who's buried, so be it. It's, not losing that vital part of your team. Never thought I'd see the day we lost starting quarterback at this point, and everybody's like, whatever with it. And I don't think that's really a sign of it's the fact that the guy was subpar last year. And he overplayed his hand and he got called on it. So, really, I don't know how much of a downgrade it is at that point, no matter where you go. In Tennessee, if the right guy hits the portal, they've got a chance to upgrade the position there. And to me, the last 2 years, that's what's held them back from being better than what they are. Last year, they did as well as they did because of Dylan Sampson and because of that defense, not necessarily in any particular order. The year before, it ended up, a solid record-wise year. And it felt like a much worse year than it was. You'd have had good quarterback play that year. Who knows where you're at in it? Maybe you pick up a couple more wins along the way. Who's to say on that one? But that looks to be the case to me. Potentially defensive back, defensive line, wide receiver, and obviously quarterback. So this team definitely still has needs. There's no doubt about it. How much could a good quarterback come in, though, and make that receiving core look a whole lot better than it has? I know they dropped passes last year. I think really a lot of times the quarterbacks and the receivers didn't do each other many favors last year. So, we'll see. They've addressed the offensive line with Pendleton, with Wendell Moy. Tight end should be good. Running back, they added the running back from Duke in the portal window, who's going to provide some solid depth as well. These young wide receivers, how do they develop? They're going to be the key. You get a quarterback who can get them the ball, that's going to make a lot of difference. A guy who will actually make a throw across the middle, who will actually look off of, and not panic if he gets a little pressure breathing on him. Because, it's possible for sure. That line is in a prove-it year. Those receivers are in a prove-it year. But I think anything on the defensive line is for depth purposes. I think for good linebackers, just developing them. And then, it depends. Depends on how they feel about their DBs coming out of the spring. Did any guys make a move to, potentially provide that depth? They have a lot of options. It's just going to be a matter of who provided. I'm going to wrap up on that one for you. Make sure you hit the like, the share, the subscribe. Anything football, basketball portal, Lady Vols portal. Try to bring that to you along the way. Really appreciate your support along the way. Once again, check out the links in the description. Channel memberships, channel Patreons. Those $1 a month can go to greatly help the channel. Or if you want to say thanks, super thanks, bottom right-hand corner. Frank, House of Orange Sports Channel. Last but not least, have a great evening and go Vols.